All right, welcome to today's Explainer. Today we are tackling something that affects, well, pretty much every single one of us: the completely overwhelming, scattered chaos of daily life. You know the feeling, right? We're all out there seeking peace, fulfillment, and meaning, but honestly, the harder we chase them, the further away they seem to get. So today I'm going to introduce you to a highly practical, genuinely structured tool drawn directly from the work of Thomas Alethea. It's called Day of the Month Topic Journaling. To add variety and direction to your self-reflection, this specific journaling technique assigns a recurring theme, such as gratitude, relationships, or your goals, to a specific day of the month. Letting that designated topic guide your entry each time that day comes around helps you easily track your behavioral and emotional patterns over time. It acts as an anchor for your thoughts, completely untangling that mental chaos. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the chaos of daily life. Second, day of the month journaling itself. Third, how to go about choosing your monthly themes. Fourth, applying something called the radar framework. And finally, tracking those patterns over time. Section 1. The chaos of daily life. So, Thomas Alethea points out something really interesting. As the world spins faster and faster, with all these accelerating social and technological changes, what do? We retreat. We basically end up living on autopilot. We try to prepare for all this constant change by gripping onto what's familiar as tightly as we can, effectively suffocating ourselves in these tiny, rigid, self-made boxes. Let me just break the fourth wall for a second and ask you directly. Do you ever find yourself acting totally against your own best interests, and you have absolutely no idea why? Like, maybe you find yourself losing your temper for no clear reason whatsoever. Or perhaps you go shopping and overspend just to get a quick mood boost. Or maybe you chronically procrastinate on goals that you know are important. Well, these are classic signs that you are embedded in a negative behavior cycle. You're experiencing an emotional trigger, you're reacting to it, and you're getting some sort of hidden payoff, like a temporary sense of relief from your anxiety that just keeps the whole vicious cycle spinning. Alethea actually references a super powerful quote from M. Scott Peck to explain this. Emotional health is facing reality at any cost. You see, emotional pain usually stems from a mismatch between actual reality and our perception of it. It's literally like confidently walking face first into a glass door because you firmly believed it was open. I mean, ouch, right? It hurts. Discovering that our perception is flawed is painful, absolutely, but it is absolutely necessary. You have to face reality to figure out what's actually causing your negative behavior cycles in the first place, and doing that requires honest, structured self-reflection. Which brings us to Section 2, Day of the Month Journaling. Okay, so we know we need to face reality and reflect, but let's be real, staring at a blank page every single day can feel totally aimless and incredibly intimidating. We need an anchor for those scattered thoughts. So the crucial point is, how does this method actually work? Well, Day of the Month topic journaling means you take a specific recurring theme, say your relationships, your goals, or your finances, and you intentionally assign it to a recurring date. Every single time the 15th of the month rolls around, for example, you write about that exact same topic. This is a brilliant constraint because it completely removes the friction of deciding what to write about today. It adds variety and vital direction to your self-reflection, and honestly, most importantly, it allows you to easily track those emotional and behavioral patterns over months and even years. Section 3. Choosing your monthly themes. Now, our human needs are vast, right? Physical, financial, relational. Trying to evaluate all of your life's needs at the exact same time is just a recipe for overwhelm. But by assigning these massive areas to specific dates, making progress becomes super manageable. Look at this hypothetical month, for example. On the 1st, you focus purely on goals. You ask, are they specific, measurable, and actually attainable? Then on the 10th, your theme shifts to gratitude. You spend that entry deliberately affirming the goodness in your life that comes from outside yourself. On the 15th, you zoom in on relationships, evaluating how you're communicating with the people you care about. And on the 20th, it's finances, taking a hard look at your spending and your sense of security. See what happened there? You've just turned this intimidating blank notebook into a highly manageable, highly structured, self-guided coaching routine. Moving on to Section 4, Applying the Radar Framework. So now that you have your scheduled topics, how should you actually write about them? Because we want to elevate your practice from just passively writing things down into actionable growth. To do this, Alethea introduces a really cool thought-stopping technique called RADAR. It's a simple but incredibly powerful acronym. First, reflect. You've hit pause and step back from the reactive emotion. Ask yourself, what are you feeling right now? What story are you currently telling yourself?
Second, describe. You translate those reflections into clear, specific, totally neutral language. So instead of saying, ugh, I am so lazy, you reframe it and say, I'm avoiding this task right now because I feel overwhelmed. See the difference? You don't judge, you just objectively name your inner reality. And finally, respond. This is the big one. This is where you commit to purposeful change. You ask yourself, how can I fix my mistake? What concrete steps can I take today that actually align with my core values? Radar works because it interrupts the automatic negative cycle by forcing mindful awareness before you just blindly react.
Now listen, I really want to warn you about a massive trap here. Passive-aggressive journaling. Alithya openly notes that he once went through this whole phase where he used his journal strictly to just express anger, but he never actually did anything to resolve the underlying issues. It just became this stagnant space where his grievances lingered, totally unattended. Honestly, if you just vent onto the page, you aren't changing your behavior at all. Your structured topic journaling absolutely must be solution-oriented. By using that radar framework we just talked about, you turn honest observation into an active search for root causes and real personal growth.
And that brings us to Section 5, tracking patterns over time. So, why assign a topic to a specific date in the first place? Like, why not just write about relationships whenever you happen to feel like it? Well, because the real magic of this toolkit happens when you string these entries together over time. Tracking your themes regularly does some truly incredible things. It uncovers your hidden negative behavior cycles, it identifies your specific emotional triggers, and it reveals the hidden payoffs behind your actions. Think about it like this. Imagine someone who feels like they're constantly clashing with their coworkers. They just feel totally victimized by the whole situation. But because they consistently review their relationships journal entries from the 15th of every month, a pattern suddenly emerges. They realize, wait a minute, I always pick a fight at work right in the middle of the month, which is exactly when all my major deadlines are due. The surface symptom was annoying coworkers, right? But the actual root cause was their own deadline-induced anxiety. They would only ever discover that through consistent, structured tracking.
Now, what's really interesting here is how tracking this visually looks over a 90-day period. Notice the descending trend of unrecognized emotional triggers. In month 1, the chaos is high. You're just reacting completely on autopilot. But by month 2, because you're consistently applying radar to your specific themes, you start catching yourself in the act. And by month 3, your emotional chaos is visibly, dramatically reduced. You are shifting from a state of just blindly reacting to your reality to actually intelligently participating in it. Of course, doing this work requires real patience, which brings us to a fantastic little concept from the source material. Do not feed the pig. PIG stands for personal instant gratification. Look, we all want the quick reward, right? We want the immediate relief from stress or boredom. But feeding the pig actively sabotages your long-term goals. Delaying gratification is a serious virtue. Building this consistent journaling habit, it isn't an overnight fix. It's a daily practice in starving the pig and genuinely investing in your future self. And this brings us right to the core philosophy of our explainer today. Thomas Alithya writes, "A good day lived well builds a good life." You really don't have to fix everything all at once. You don't have to overhaul your entire worldview in a single weekend. That's impossible anyway. By simply taking control of just one day at a time, exploring just one structured theme at a time through your journal, you slowly but very surely transform your entire reality. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Think about the chaos in your own life right now. Think about the areas you know you've been avoiding. Grab a notebook and ask yourself, what theme will you assign to tomorrow? The blank page is waiting, but now you actually have the structure to conquer it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to see the order you bring to your own chaos.